You're listening to Offscript, where we dive deep with filmmakers, artists, and creatives who are breaking the rules and making their own way, with a special spotlight on the Southeast film market. No fluff, no filters, just real talk about the highs, lows, and unexpected twists of building careers and creating in a constantly evolving industry. On this episode, we sit down with Laura Flannery, actor and one of the best headshot photographers in the Southeast. We talk about her journey from booking national commercials to capturing the perfect shot, what makes a headshot stand out, and how working on both sides of the camera shapes her artistry. Plus, we dip a little bit into beauty and wellness. Get ready for a fun, inspiring convo. Let's go off script.
Hi, I'm Laura Flannery. I'm an actor and a photographer.
Laura, we're so excited to have you on today. Laura is probably known as one of the best headshot photographers in the state. She did my headshots. She actually did the one that's on the podcast cover. So just to put that together.
That was so much fun.
She really is such a pleasure to work with. It makes it so easy. Okay, well, we're just going to start with your story. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got started in the entertainment industry? Was acting always your dream, or did your creative journey evolve over time?
I have to thank my mom because she started me off at a young age. I mean, I was a highly energetic, extremely hyper child, and my parents were both like, bless them, what are we going to do with this child? So they put me into multiple activities, ballet, tap dance, instruments. I wasn't sticking to anything. And then finally they threw me into a puppet show at a local kids museum or amusement park. It's like Mr. Rogers meets a fairy tale theater performance. And then from there, I went on to perform at a youth theater group. And the funny thing is, I was never given the lead role. But they were always like, oh, there's no such thing as a small role. And I'm like, okay, whatever. That has made me so hungry to want to keep doing this. And then my mom eventually threw me into an on-camera acting class. I got headshots. I literally had a unibrow at the time. Now they're back. I'm like, I wish I still had the unibrow. But so I signed with a talent agent. And then a week later, I booked a principal role on a national commercial for Zocor, which is a 12-year-old's dream, right? To advertise cholesterol medication. So I even got to kiss a cute boy. Ooh. I think that was probably the most nervous I've ever felt at that time.
Wait, yeah. What? At age 12, they made you kiss a boy?
To be fair, I might have been 14. I didn't even use it in the scene. But it was like so cool and also nerve-wracking. But yeah, so I was hooked, and then I haven't stopped since, except for I took a little detour in fashion and probably too many electives in photography.
I wouldn't consider that a detour. You do so well in photography.
Thank you.
Okay, so what inspired you to branch out into headshot photography?
The love of people's faces. Being in front of the camera, I started noticing the camera and I wanted to know more, and I wanted to be able to have conversations with the DP and just being able to hold a conversation about what does an 85 millimeter lens mean? So, I was also on set and I met a guy who was a cameraman. We dated and I learned so much from him, and I was seeing him do these huge projects. And so I was like, I can do big things too. Let's do it. So I picked up a camera. I started taking pictures of people, and I was also juggling working at a boutique. Every time I got an audition or a booking, I had to find someone to cover my shifts. No, I can't do this for the rest of my life. So I was like, let me make this a side hustle. Let's go.
That's amazing. And you've built it so much, and that takes a lot of work to build that.
Thank you. I mean, it's been, I want to say 14 years since that moment of picking the camera up and deciding to photograph people's faces.
Yeah, and what's specific is that you went into headshot photography versus other, you studied fashion, so you could have done fashion style or other styles of photography, but you went to actor headshots. It's just because of the faces, essentially.
And also, me being in front of the camera and knowing how I like to be lit, and knowing that different facial features need different lighting, and enjoying that challenge. I genuinely think everyone is beautiful, but in the right light, no pun intended, I feel like we can look our best,
Yeah. That's so true.
That's why you nailed. Whenever I got headshots with you, I felt, oh, I look like myself. I look like how I look when I take pictures or selfies. It's not a great feeling when you go in, have a photo shoot, and you look at picture like, do I look like that? That's one of the worst feelings. And I just remember so many times I get my pictures taken for headshots, and I'd be, is that what I look like?
Exactly.
And yeah, it makes such a difference. So, how has working on both sides of the camera really shaped your perspective as an artist?
I used to have a hard time accepting that I was an artist because I always saw art as something that was on a canvas or painted, and I wasn't good at that. But I read The Artist Way, and I have a whole new idea of what an artist is. And yes, a photographer and an actor is an artist. So photography helped me trust that art will happen if you enjoy the process instead of forcing it. And I think the same goes for acting. If you do your homework and just let it be when the time comes to actually perform, and just trust that it's in you and let it all go. Because photography has made me more technical as an actor because I'm aware of way more than I should be. But I like that because I'm learning the older I get, the more I'm obsessed with having a little bit of control.
Yeah.
So
Same.
yeah, and that's what's great about self-tapes is that we have that control. Whereas y'all, if I back and during live auditions, if I were to, with the knowledge of a photographer, if I were to go into an audition and the window is here and the camera is here, you know, I am going to know that lighting is not the best for my face, you know, learning the technical aspects of things and trusting the process.
I love that. So as an actor, what do you look for in a great headshot, and how does that influence your photography style?
Yeah. Can't put it into words. I'm just such a visual person, but when I know it and I see it, it just excites me. And then once you get that one, the whole shoot becomes just, oh my God, you know, and it usually happens in the first look. We're getting to know each other. We've already talked styling. We've already done our homework. Me and the client are on the same page. I feel like they're in my brain. I don't even have to tell them what to do. They just feel it. It's almost like it's a kinetic or like we're like connected in the brain. I don't know how to explain it, but
Like telepathy.
Telepathy. Thank you. Yeah. But if I had to describe it, a great headshot needs to capture your essence and also stand out from the sea of tiny thumbnails on casting sites. You have to pop, but still feel like it has to be you.
When you prepare for the headshot session, is there something that you do or a process that you have to prepare to shoot someone? Is there some kind of research you do? I think you'd mentioned to me at one point that you look at Instagram to see how that person likes to look in their pictures. And how would you say, I mean, obviously it's a very different process to prepare for an acting role, but this is kind of a two-sided question. So how would you prepare for that versus an acting role?
Yeah, that's a great question. It all falls back to homework. With photography, it's doing the homework and checking their IMDb, checking their Instagram, self-tapes. I send them a questionnaire, which I think helps them think about it as well. Because that's what they've told me. And just thinking about who they are as an actor. And I tell them to bring clothing that makes them feel good. And a ton of clothing. Bring a ton of, whenever you have a headshot session, I mean, it happens. People bring a few pieces and we do what we can, but it's better to have more than less. Textures look really good on camera, sweaters. And then once we have that foundation of the options of clothing, and I have done the homework, we both collaborate and put it together. And I've had people be very surprised at what I throw together. And they're like, oh, I never would have put those two together. But when you're putting something on camera, you can play more. And you want, like I said, you want that tiny thumbnail to pop, like out of thousands of other actors. And then when it comes to acting, preparing, doing the homework, the technical, and I study with Leslie Kahn, and we talk about the technicals and how acting is 100% organic, 100% technical, and 100% bleep it. I don't know if I can curse. So figuring out how to do all that technical and then just forgetting about it. And the client too, they are welcome to show me what they want the photo to look like. And we're going to do it. We're going to try to do that. And then also being open to doing new things and just trusting the process.
You know how I feel there's this trend right now of the color matching, right? people get their colors matched. They're like a spring or a light winter, whatever. Do you ever incorporate that or anything like that?
I think it's a little more intuition. I work a lot on the cusp. I work a lot in the moment. There are tests you can do online to like see what your colors are. So I think that the client can do that. I think that's something they should do. And then when they come in, my perspective would go along
with a lot of younger actors. They might not entirely know who they are, right? Or what kind of roles, especially if they're getting into acting. So how do you work with them to capture their essence or what type of roles that they might be going for to help them kind of navigate who they are?
Yeah, I think in that case, definitely bring a ton of options. They might not have an agent or manager, but if they do, definitely ask them. I think posting on social media to your friends, hey, what do you guys see me as? In an acting class, they do that a lot, where you step in front of everyone and they say, everybody just shouts, cheerleader, da-da-da, da-da-da, doctor, lawyer, and then that gives you a feel. It's definitely a weird thing to do, but as actors, we have to play, we have to accept that we are cliches, and film industry can have a lot of cliches. So I think doing a little bit of research and then once you bring your clothing, we can work with that. But, you can't drive home and go get more clothes. So whatever you bring is what you bring. And that's what's really helpful about having a makeup and hair person, because she and I can both discuss what the look would be. And, sometimes people don't want to do hair and makeup, which I totally understand. It is an investment to get new headshots, especially when it's your first time working with a photographer and you have those bad experiences where you feel like you didn't get what you wanted and you spent all that money.
Yeah.
So I get not wanting to invest in a hair and makeup person. And I love hair. Listen, I think hair tells so much story, and so I definitely help with that. But a new actor, I just try to send them emails to help them discover themselves through questionnaires. And yeah, headshots are a big topic. There's so many podcasts I listen to that talk about headshots, and I'm like, I want to hear everything. I'm so obsessed with it all. Yeah.
I love that. I love that exercise. Let's see. Okay, Laura, right now, I would say you look like an executive. Fallon, what character would you be? You would be, tech entrepreneur. You give me tech entrepreneur right now.
With the headphones?
Yeah. With the headphones, yeah.
Yeah, those are some fly headphones y'all have there.
Thanks.
Share a little bit about a recent acting role or project that you're really proud of.
Okay, let's see. I'm really proud of the journey to book the role of Janelle Crowley on the CW's Dynasty. It was opposite Elizabeth Gillies, who played Fallon, and I found
Fallon.
Everyone thinks I'm named after Dynasty. I'm not.
Yeah, I loved working with Elizabeth Gillies. She's such a pro. Like, she has a lot of dialogue to learn, and I was face to face with her for like 4 scenes. That was my first audition I had right after auditions resumed post-COVID. And if I hadn't stayed in class and kept the momentum during that slow period, I don't think I would have been able to handle the 3 to 4 monologue heavy scenes with such a tight turnaround. I remember being so nervous and feeling very undeserving of such a role. But my Leslie Kahn coach, Jolie Jenkins, she reminded me that I was ready and I had this, and she's just always so good at making me feel calm. I'm very easily anxious. So she calmed me down, and the character I played, Janelle, was an actress that Fallon wanted to hire to play her in her husband's movie. Very meta. It was truly an incredible experience, and I just remember that staying sharp, even when things are slow, can really pay off when opportunity comes knocking. And I'm trying to do that right now too, because it's a little slow right now. So staying in class is definitely like, you never know when that chunky audition's going to come,
That's so true.
What is the Leslie Kahn technique based in? You seem like a preparer, and you said, 100% technical, 100%, obviously other things. And I agree with that. I do more Stella Adler, but what is Leslie Kahn based in?
I would say it's very modern. It's kind of her thing she made up. You find the threes and they can be builds, or they can be reversals, images. We talk antitheticals, like technical stuff. And then also the organics about the relationships and, what the genre is, and having couch time where you just work it. And then you get in front of another actor, and rehearsals are really big for her. Like we have to, she tells us we need to rehearse 3 hours a day. So we try to do as best as we can. And what I've learned so much in that rehearsal space is how to talk to other actors in a way that helps them create rather than telling them what to do. It's so easy to just fall into the trap of, hey, how do you think I should play this? Versus like, I have to figure it out on my own. But I'm not going to lie, I hire a coach when I have auditions because it's so much easier to see the scene when it's not yours versus when it's someone else's. So that's what's great about working it with another actor, you know?
So from your perspective, what do you think is unique about the Southeast entertainment scene, and how do you see it impacting local talent?
I think that the Southeast market is so much easier to build your resume because there's so many more local hire roles like under fives, co-stars. And I think that is how I started out as an actor, building up smaller roles, do as much as you can in the market that you're currently in. And then when you decide that you want to keep doing this acting thing, understanding that there are other markets that you might get more work in, and whether that means moving to that market or just finding representation there and knowing that you might have to go there on a whim. And also knowing that it's not going to be easy to find representation if you're not in that market. Like if you're in New Orleans and you want rep in Los Angeles, it's not easy, but it's doable. I have a lot of clients who come in here who are located in the Southeast with rep in Los Angeles and New York. And I was like, good for you guys. I mean, I have a manager in Los Angeles too, but it wasn't easy to get. Like it took a little bit of trying different people out because, you know, and that was something I noticed when I lived in Los Angeles. It was really easy to get representation in New Orleans. And I'm not trying to brag, but back then there wasn't as many people acting. And then when I was like, oh, I'm a hot shot. I'm going to move to Los Angeles and get an agent. And it wasn't easy. You get told no to your face versus submitting on via email and just not getting a response or whatever. But you go to these meetings and they straight up tell you no. And that's like a hard lesson to learn. But if you keep at it and you keep trying and staying polite, I've left agent meetings that after they've said no, and I've been awesome, thank you so much, left, and they've called me back and they've been like, we actually want to sign you. We think you handled the situation so well. So you never know when you're going to get tested either. It's crazy. It's just a crazy industry that way.
I mean, do you have plans to move to LA?
Well, I have a back and forth. I have a place to stay there. But at this time, I think my goal is to get there again. But right now, I think it's just staying grounded, focusing on the work, and just seeing where that leads down south.
How important do you feel it is for actors in smaller markets like this one to have more of a standout headshot? And how do you help them compete with the LA headshots?
For real, yeah. I think the talent in the Southeast is just as strong and talented as other markets. So I do think that we definitely should be competing with bigger markets. If anything, I think we work harder. I think we try to learn as much as we can, and we should be setting ourselves up to compete on a larger scale. Yeah. And I think when you're at the level to get professional headshots, like you'll know. And yeah, I mean, I'm obsessed with learning all about headshots. And I think that my headshots definitely do compete with the Los Angeles and New York market. Like it's kind of, I don't, like, I am not good at talking about myself. But yeah, I do think that I study what is going on there. I've gone to LA and got my headshots done, and I'll probably do it again because it's just such a different experience getting your headshots done by someone who's professional versus trying to do them yourself. Like me trying to do them, it becomes a little bit too fake looking versus like if I just have the whole day about me, you know, and not worrying about lighting. But anyway, yeah, I got my headshots with Dana Patrick, and she is someone that I just like I look up to her so much. Like I have a massive girl crush on her. But yeah, so you don't have to be in Los Angeles to have high quality headshots. Just make sure you're ready for the auditions when you do get quality headshots, because I've had people get new headshots and they're like, oh my God, Laura, like I've had so many auditions since the headshots. And I mean, I do think that getting new headshots gives you a new energy of like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing this. Let's go. And also Leslie Kahn says that even if you don't feel like you've changed appearance wise, sometimes your mileage on set has made you feel a different way. Maybe you feel more confident, and that can show within the photo when you get new headshots.
Yeah. What do you think about all this, all these AI headshots? I mean, obviously you can usually tell, but what do you think about all that?
I think it's okay for your business headshots. I just think
Mm-hmm.
for acting, the experience of getting your headshots done is also part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, when you come and get your headshots, we talk so much about acting and people leave feeling uplifted and excited about it versus like just sitting behind your computer. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Ooh, I know.
It
Yeah.
doesn't capture the same light. Like there's a energy, I guess, that you can't replicate through the computer.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. I feel like you can really feel someone's energy and essence, like you were saying before. Casting directors feel that. People feel that. There's so much energy that's being emitted, I think, through a
Right.
photo. So it's really important for people to really feel that.
Yeah, and you want to look like you're going to look when you have an audition. And my goal is to always make sure that your skin texture is still there and you're not blurred. I'm on a group where all these parents post their kids' headshots, and I'm like, you guys, they're like really photoshopped. Your kid probably doesn't need to be photoshopped like this. I mean, I did make a comment like, hey, you guys, if you need help retouching, I can help you and still make it look like it's not retouched. Retouching is such a tricky conversation too, because you want to look like you look when you go into auditions, but you also want your photo to pop. So my goal with retouching is to do that and to show imperfections, except for things like pimples and flyaways and anything that's distracting. Not necessarily, I don't think wrinkles are distracting. I think that you should show your wrinkles because that helps show your age and where you should be cast. Yeah. So, and that's hard for me as a woman to want to post or have my pictures up with my wrinkles because we all have an ego.
Oh my gosh, girl, what wrinkles? Like, what wrinkles?
I know I look dark right now, but I have lights set up in here. Thank you.
Well, I see a smooth face over there. I hear that. I think that's always a challenging thing, even for women in general. Men don't have the same issue, but women do because we're also told that we have to look youthful and young, and there's all these like incredible hard stereotypes of how a woman is supposed to appear on camera. And if she has lines, it's like she's not beautiful if she has lines on her face, and it's hard, you know.
Yeah, and like I've been watching the SAG movies, the screeners, and I'm surprised that some of these messages are about women getting older and they're not in a positive light. So watch The Last Showgirl. I was just like, I really wanted this to be a positive message, but it was about women getting older. Sorry, we were talking about wrinkles, and I'm just like, but I want to say one more thing about wrinkles. I think that we need to show our wrinkles because otherwise we're going to be in this constant trap of trying to play younger, and there's just such a huge market that is younger, and you're going to be competing with a huge pool of people that's younger.
That's so true.
Versus like playing, into your 30s and 40s. And I do think people have...
Most people bail by then.
Quit. Yes. They've quit because of COVID and strikes. And they're just like, I'm over it. Get me out of here.
That is such a good point. I never even thought about it like that. The ones that stick around are usually the most talented. I mean, you need all ages. All ages. Every single thing isn't about a certain age group. Some of the, the meatier, the better roles are for older women, I think.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
We should start a Wrinkle Wednesday or something on Instagram. Post your wrinkles.
I love that. That's so good. I love that.
Oh my God. I don't know if I'm ready for that, y'all. Like, I know I have some wrinkles, but I'm just trying to age gracefully and accept it. I think that it's a huge part. I go through a breakdown with it, and I just try my best to handle that gracefully, but there's definitely, I'm trying.
Well, you hear your whole life, enjoy your youth, enjoy your youth. It goes by fast. It goes by fast. And then all of a sudden you're like, blank.
Yeah.
It goes by fast.
It goes by fast, and oh my gosh, and I didn't take really good care of my skin. You know, growing up in California, I was a surfer. I was out in the sun all the
Yeah.
time, and I'm just like, oh man, if I had taken better care of my skin, I would probably wouldn't be having to do all these like preventative things now. But I'm just
Right.
like, but it's okay because also at the same time, I lived a really cool life from my perspective. I love the fact that I used to surf all the time and spend time in the ocean. And a lot of people don't get that luxury or just never had that experience in their life. And I get to say that I did.
Yeah.
So it's a double-edged sword kind of until I just, you know, for me, learn to really accept that and be like, you know what, it's okay. I follow all these accounts too that are like wrinkle positive.
Oh.
But it's still there's still a stigma around it. I'm not gonna lie. Even for commercial work, there's still a stigma. They want you to look older, but like without wrinkles. I feel like even for commercial work. So are you 40, but are you flawless 40? You're just
Right.
like, what? Most 40-year-olds
Yeah.
don't look like that, you know? So there's still so much, there's a huge learning curve or for
Acceptance curve.
Exactly. There's a
Right.
huge acceptance curve still in Hollywood. It's not fully accepting of the wrinkles.
Well,
Right.
speaking of beauty stuff, do you have any fun like wellness or routines that you do for yourself to make yourself feel good before you're doing a shoot or anything like that?
I love those baggage claim under eye.
Those are good.
Yes, they're so good. And I'll try to barely touch them and get like 2 uses out of them.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping them in the fridge is really good.
Yeah.
I recently have decided that beauty comes from within, and I don't mean that, and I mean, yes, it does, but also like what you eat. And like,
Yeah, for sure.
you know that. Yeah, I know. We talked about that.
This is my stuff.
Yeah. So like, I've been trying to like every meal that I have, all the vegetables. I've been doing this since October, and I have seen a huge just change in everything about myself. Even my memory, I think there's so many creams you can buy and like slap on, and I've tried a lot of them, but I think ultimately, eating your veggies and your greens and your reds and your oranges,
the rainbow.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. And taking, I mean, I think you can get your supplements within food, but I also think it's good to take a supplement as well.
Yeah. Completely.
Anyway.
Yeah. Well, so tell us what's next for Laura Flannery. Yeah. What's next? But you got cooking.
I'm working towards booking a guest star role and landing my first series regular on a show would be just wonderful.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to stay in class and act daily, but it gets difficult running a business because it's really hard to turn the hats to go from photography to acting. So trying to balance it, and I have a vampire movie supposedly starting to shoot in March. So I'm just waiting to hear a little bit more about that. I always thought I looked like a vampire, so I'm excited to play a vampire. I swear, I auditioned for that, the originals, like so many times. I'm sure y'all did, or you've had shows that you've auditioned multiple times for.
Well, we have a vampire series that we're developing, and we're casting locals. So
sweet, that's
get
awesome.
ready. We'll need lots of vampires.
Oh, I love it. Cool.
Yes, we love vampire stuff.
That's so cool. I love what you guys are doing. Y'all are just like so inspiring.
Thanks. Yeah, but I completely understand what you mean about how do you handle the business and then the creative and going back to the business? This is something I struggle with also because we have in-ceremony productions, but I also have my own Reiki business too on top of that. And then being able to flip back to being like, now I'm doing rewrites on a script, as Fallon knows, then having to prepare for auditions. Sometimes I find myself overwhelmed because I'm just like, wait, who am I right now? Am I like, am I the business person? Am I the Reiki practitioner giving you good vibes? Am I the artist? It's challenging. So do you have any tips for that? Help me.
I guess just like be kind to yourself. I feel like as actors, we're constantly waiting for an audition and then they don't come, or they do come and you have to completely change your whole day or week to get it done. You know, it kind of owns us. kind of owns our lives. So trying to figure out how to go about your day and not think about, am I going to get an audition today? Checking your email. I guess, well, one thing I do is I have class on Fridays, so I don't let anyone take my Fridays from me. And I'll make sure I have my Thursday evenings, so I focus on acting. And another thing that I do is in our acting class, we have a Google Calendar where we try to rehearse. We have to rehearse at least, 3 hours a day. So we make sure to sign up for it at the beginning of the week so that I can look ahead and block off my schedule. And I guess just like planning and making sure you plan time for your actor self, because it really is a practice like athletes have to practice. We have to practice. And I feel I can tell when I'm not in practice because I took the holidays off, right? And I went back to class in January and I was like, I can't even get off book. I don't even feel like it's in me. And then after a few classes, I was like, okay, I'm getting the hang of it again. And Leslie always says you can't use your audition as practice. You can't wait for an audition to practice. And that's hard. That's really hard. Because you want to sit back into your regular life and make money.
Yeah, especially because it's such a collaborative art as well. So there's only so many monologues you really want to learn by yourself,
Right? Yes, monologues. Oh my goodness. Yep.
What does a rehearsal look like for you?
Rehearsals are, so we get on Zoom because everybody lives everywhere. And we will have a scene for class, and one person will go, one person will be in the reader, and another person will be on the couch watching and giving notes. Oh, cool. And the notes will be questions, or they'll say, try it like that, or try it like this. And instead of saying, no, I don't think it should be that way, immediately trying it, seeing if it works. And I like that. Yeah, it's really nice to practice taking a note, even if it seems like I don't think that's the right way to do it. Mm-hmm. And then trying it and just practicing taking notes, regardless of if it's right or not.
So you prepare prior to, or where do you guys get the scripts and stuff like that?
Well, for Leslie's class, you take her comedy intensive, and they have specific scenes that they work on dealing with Leslie's techniques. That'll be like 2 classes. You work comedy, then you can work the clinic, and then I'm currently an ongoing. Clinic is procedurals and drama and feature films and indie films. And then you work ongoing, which is really cool because we get to work scenes that are currently casting or stuff that's, kind of coming to the office. We work on it. That's the scenes we usually work on in rehearsals. Whatever's assigned for class that Friday. We'll usually start Sunday. If she hasn't posted the rehearsals, we'll just try and find something to work on. Now, I'm definitely going to admit that I sometimes don't start rehearsing till Wednesday with people. My friends are going to hear this and they're going to be like, she doesn't come in Sundays. Oh, man. Just called myself out. I love it. I'm like, that's my weekends. I need the weekend to just chill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to find time for yourself. It's so important to have that. Well, beautiful.
You guys made this, I definitely was nervous in the beginning, but you guys calmed my nerves, and this was so much fun.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on board, and we really enjoyed it, and we're so excited to see how your career just takes off and flourishes. Gonna bring in those beautiful season regular vibes so that you get that. And then for those of you who don't know, my name is Sky Lopez, and we have here Fallon Goodson, and we are Offscript. So thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for tuning in to Offscript. If you love this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and follow us for more unfiltered conversations with the creatives shaping the Southeast film market. Until next time, keep creating, keep pushing, and keep telling your story your way.